Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a quick guide to bounties and factions in Grim Dawn. This feature has been introduced as of build 25 of the game, which has just recently come out as the time of this recording. Firstly, let's check out the factions window. As you'll see here on this screen, you have both your enemy and your friendly factions listed on the left. First are your enemy factions, which are basically the monsters and enemies you fight day to day throughout Grim Dawn. In effect, what happens is the more you kill them, the more that they will dislike you, and you will continue to fill up this bar more and more, eventually reaching, despised, hated, and eventually nemesis status with that faction. Now, in effect, as you reach these tiers of dislike, I suppose, of reputation, they will just send out worse and worse, or more difficult, I suppose, enemies to try and trounce you and destroy you. Eventually, as you do reach nemesis status with that faction, they're going to send out their biggest and baddest guys that they have available to try and smush you into a pile of dust. But the reward for that, of course, is some of the most uberest loot you will find in the game. So there's the incentive there. Now, in a similar vein, we have friendly factions too. Some you'll be most familiar with are Devil's Crossing and Homestead, and the Rovers as well. Similarly to the enemy factions, you have tiers of reputation that you can reach. As you'll see here, friendly, respected, honored, and finally revered. Now you'll see down the bottom of each of the panes as you click on your chosen faction how you will gain reputation with them. As you'll see here, for the Order of Death's Vigil, we can gain reputation by killing ethereals, commands chosen, or by performing quests and bounties for that faction. Now that brings us to our next point, which is of course the bounty table. Now I believe you need to be at least of a respected status with that faction in order to do bounties for them, but then you will gain access to said table. Now, by clicking on it, in effect, you can accept bounties from that faction. Bounties are kind of like quests, I suppose, very similar to quests in that you have an end objective. However, they differ from quests in that the descriptions or guides to complete the quest is a lot less informative and descriptive. You sort of have to go out there and adventure for yourself and find out exactly where the main enemy might be or whatever the end goal might be. But the reward, of course, for completing your bounties is gaining extra reputation with that faction, allowing you to get further up the bar and eventually reaching revered status, hopefully. Now these various tiers here unlock various levels of availability with the Quartermaster of that faction, which is another part of that update. If we click into the Quartermaster here, we'll see there are various tabs across the top representing the different levels of reputation with this faction, and we'll see here we're currently respected with Devil's Crossing. So in the friendly tab here you have some basic stuff you can buy. As you go further up the tabs, you just have better items available. Here we have some weapon augments and some recipes. As we reach honored status, there's some really nice gear here, and then finally revered status as well. Now, it's definitely recommended to be checking out the various faction quartermasters to see what gear and items they offer, because each one is unique and different. Each faction has their own unique stuff to offer you, so definitely check out which ones are going to best suit your character in order to get the best gear you can. Now, upon reaching revered status with a faction, you have access to some very fancy items. As you'll see here, we have a writ and a mandate. Now, how these work is that, in effect, all the grinding you've done to reach revered status does not go to waste. If you purchase a mandate, what you are able to do is place that in the transfer stash of your game, and you can pass that on to other characters. What that'll mean is the character you pass that on to will instantly receive a reputation boost for the faction that you bought the mandate from. Now, the writs work in a similar way, however they're non-transferable. When you purchase a writ, the character you've purchased it with will carry over a certain portion, or rather gain a bonus amount of reputation when they go to the next difficulty of the game. So, ladies and gents, I hope this little guide has helped you on your way in Grim Dawn. I hope this has covered everything. If not, please do leave questions or comments below. In the description of this video, I'll also try to leave the relevant links to the Grim Dawn forums that describe some of the stuff we talked about here. If you did like this video, please do like or subscribe below, as it helps a lot. My name is Kluger, and I hope to see you soon.